Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Review of Literature Writing Workshop, which is part of our STE Talks special series on SDS 200 undergraduate thesis. I am Mary Fedepito, Assistant Professor at BSDS College of Human Ecology, the facilitator for this afternoon's workshop. We know that our audience spans across various provinces, universities, colleges, and other organizations in our country and beyond. Just to have a feel of our audience this afternoon, may I ask you to chat in our chat box your current location. Please chat in our chat box where you are in the Philippines or in the world right now. So we would see kung tayo ay spread everywhere in the world or in the Philippines, because we know that we have audience watching us on Facebook and also in YouTube. So please chat in our chat box. We will also be monitoring from our UPLB BSDS page and in our YouTube page. Yeah, we have guests from Tarlac, from Batangas, Santa Rosa, Laguna. Of course, our resource person for this afternoon is from UAE. We have also watching from Rome, Italy. Ma'am Janice in Los Baños, wishing I was in Canberra, Australia. Ayan. Nasaan pang ating audience this afternoon? Cavite, Quezon. We have from NCR, Pampanga, Pangasinan. Ayan. We have lots of spread. We're spread all over the Philippines, no? But mostly from Region 4A and Region 3. But I think our friends who are tuning in Facebook and YouTube are mostly in Palawan, watching from all the way from Palawan. Those who are watching in YouTube and Facebook, you may also comment kung nasaan kayo ngayon. Yan, ayan, meron na tayo from joining us here in Zoom from Puerto Princesa City, Palawan. Yan, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Meron din po tayong friends from Cagayan de Oro, Misamis Oriental. Thank you. Sige po, tuloy-tuloy lang po. I-chat kung nasaan kayo right now. Ayan, Sir G is in Nagalan, Laguna.
Nakamute ka, Ma'am Mafe.
Of course, we would also like to acknowledge our friends and partners from DLSU, from College of Public Affairs here in UPLB, our colleagues from the Institute of Human Nutrition and Food, our colleagues from UP Resilience Institute, our partners and friends from Palawan State University and San Pedro College of Business. We also have representatives from Batangas Eastern Colleges. Yan. Of course, Ma'am Emmy is here with us from all the way from Forestry in UPLB. Ayan, I think we will be starting shortly because it's already 4 o'clock. So please sit back and relax and prepare your ears for this afternoon session. So again, welcome to the Review of Literature Writing Workshop, brought to you by the Department of Social Development Services, College of Human Ecology here in UPLB. We offer, siguro just a bit about our department and our college. We offer the BS Human Ecology program, major in social technology, that advances transdisciplinary instruction, research, and public service in various sectors. You may know more about our college or about the department through our official Facebook page, UPLB Department of Social Development Services, College of Human Ecology. To formally start our workshop, let us all come together and sing the Philippine National Anthem.
Ayun! Eh. Anong tinapay? Akala mo mag-shake kayo?
Okay, at this point, let us keep the ball rolling. Let us now listen to the welcome remarks to be delivered by our chair, Dr. Dino Jejes from the Department of Social Development Services, College of Human Ecology. Let us all give Dr. Dino a warm of virtual applause.
Thank you, Ma'am Mafe. Magandang hapon po sa lahat. Kamusta po kayo? I hope you are all safe and well. Let me formally welcome our 119 participants this afternoon for the SDS 200 workshop series. So I think we have our friends and colleagues, of course, from the department and from the College of Human Ecology, from other colleges and units in the University of the Philippines, other partners and stakeholders from UP Resilience Institute, Palawan State University, San Pedro College of Business, other students and friends across the globe. Let me welcome you to this afternoon session on how to effectively write your literature review. I think let me give you a a brief context. Now, why are we doing this? Basically, when we revised the BS Human Ecology curriculum in 2018, as a result of that revision, we all required our students to take or to undergo thesis, upon completion of their respective degree program. And our students can relate on this because this is our third session already. We've started with, kung matatandaan natin, what's our first topic, yung choosing the one, 'di ba po? Choosing the one, no? Selecting the one, meaning to say you have to really identify your research topic, no? And it was immediately followed by revisiting, no, refining your research objectives, which are all important as we move towards the end of the semester, since you have to defend, no, your course, your thesis outline at the end of the semester. So this afternoon, I'm glad to welcome you all, and I hope we will collectively learn from our speaker from De La Salle University to talk about literature review. No? So most of us can relate on this, and I think isa siya doon sa gagawan ulit, pagsusunugan ulit ng mga kilay ng mga estudyante natin primarily because it is equally important, no, element or section of your thesis, no. So with that, I'm happy to see you all, and I hope we will have a meaningful discussion this afternoon. So muli, maraming salamat po, magandang hapon, and let us all stay safe po.
Thank you, Dr. Dino. Thank you for reminding us that, of course, our SDS 200 students should have find the one already at this point. And of course, to push through with their research, no, our session for this afternoon, it will excite them more. So without further ado, I would now call on Professor Ron J. Dangkalan to give us an overview of our workshop and introduce our esteemed speaker for this afternoon. Take it away, Prof. Ron.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Mafe. And of course, we are very excited to actually introduce to everyone our speaker for this afternoon, and all the way from Dubai, our speaker. So our speaker is a social linguist and an interdisciplinary social scientist specializing in the political economy of language and migration, family language policies, and ethnographic methods. He is an assistant professorial lecturer at the Department of Filipino of De La Salle University in the Philippines, and a PhD candidate in Humanities and Communication at the Universitat Oberta de Catalunya in Spain. Concurrently, he is a visiting doctoral researcher at the Department of International Studies at the American University of Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates. Jekon is part of the UOC Interdisciplinary Research Group on Language, Culture, and Identity in the Global Age, and a member of the International Association of Applied Linguistics Research Network on Social and Affective Factors in Home Language Maintenance and Development. He holds editorial board positions in the journals on Studies in Ethnicity and Nationalism at the London School of Economics, at the LLT Journal, a journal on language and language teaching at the Universitas Sanata Dharma, and the Malaysian Journal of Media Studies at the University of Malaya. Moreover, he sits in the advisory and peer review boards of the Ukara Journal of Languages and Literature at the Center for Language and Development in Indonesia, and the Ideology Journal of Arts and Social Science at the University Technology Mara in Malaysia. And I think Prof. Jekon is in the news recently, tama ba, Prof. Jekon, as one of the member of the editors of the Harvard Public Health Review in Boston. As a researcher, his published journal articles, book chapters, and scholarly commentaries are in Philippine linguistics, translation studies, media studies, linguistic and cultural factors in public health, and international politics. Furthermore, he served as peer reviewer for more than 20 national and international journals in high-impact ISI and Scopus Index journal. As a Mindanaoan academic, he is an honorary fellow of the Office of Policy Research and Legal Services of the Bangsamoro Parliament, and he is an elected associate member of the National Research Council of the Philippines Social Science Division, and a steering committee member of the Philippine International Studies Association. And of course, more than his academic credentials, Prof. Jekon is very humble, very generous with his time, and that's why he's here right now. So it's an honor to introduce to you Prof. Jekon Dreisbach. Let's give a big heart emoji to everyone. And we're now 176 here on Zoom, and I think around 200 almost on YouTube. Thank you.
Ayan. Okay. Ron, Ms. Pafek, kita ba yung naka-share ngayon?
We can see it now, Prof. Jekon.
Okay. It's just the slide, right? Okay. Because I'm not sure if I'm sharing the right thing. Pero dinig naman ako ng maayos. Hello?
Yes, Prof. Jekon.
Okay, great.
Sir.
Ayan. Maraming salamat sa lahat, sorry, ayan. Okay. Well, good afternoon to everyone in the Philippines. Good morning if you are in Europe or in the Middle East like me. If someone is attending at nighttime na sa kanila, so good evening. Anyway, good day wherever you are listening in the world right now. And thank you very much to the Department of Social Development Services of the UPLB College of Human Ecology, no? Most especially Professor Ron, no, for inviting me to share here. And Ron and I, as far as I know, are of the same age. No, basically, I am also the same age as my university, and I am an early career qualitative researcher. So I'll try my best to also relate this workshop to quantitative and mixed methods researchers out there. Okay. For today's sharing, I will again try my best to squeeze in around 6 contact hours of literature review training in just 45 minutes to give you the value of literature and research writing, the characteristics of a good and comprehensive literature review, and practical tips with walkthroughs, no, with guides in writing a literature review. And following what Dr. has mentioned earlier, no, I'm really glad, no, for being the third speaker in this series, kasi sobrang sakto, no, that this sharing, no, can really help refine the research projects of the students of the department, no, most especially those that are doing their thesis, no, thesis proposals this semester or this trimester, depending on the calendar of your school, no. Anyway, I do not have any script for this presentation today. So Ron and Mafe, please let me know if I have 5 minutes left, because I might go over. Hopefully not. But anyway, I'll proceed to the next slide now. Okay. Wait, I think I skipped. Oh yeah, I was supposed to discuss the sharing points. The first discussion, the first part of the discussion would be the value of literature review and research writing. Next, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, na pala, the characteristics of a good literature review and practical tips in writing a literature review. I'm not sure if this kind of style of research problem or research focus or research topic generation is being done in the Philippines. But basically, in writing your research projects, no, think of it as if you are writing journal articles and that you are writing to basically not just solve problems in your communities as parang yung focus no, ng College of Human Ecology, but think of it also as a way for you to contribute to the development of your respective academic disciplines, academic fields, and so on and so forth. As such, no, when we generate our research problems, or research questions, research focus, no, beyond our research interests, from what we have learned, no, during our studies, and beyond our personal experiences, because of course, when we try to solve problems in the real world, of course, we gain parang ideas or motivation or inspiration from our personal experiences. But also, no, you should also take into consideration, no, when you think of your research problem generation, is yung the gaps in academic literature, no, and how are you going to identify, no, the gaps in academic literature? Of course, by doing a literature review, no. So I was really glad. I was really glad when with what Dr. has mentioned earlier. You know, kasi our discussion today is another way of refining the students' research topics, research problems, research focus. No, so yun, doing a literature review, or at least no reading existing literature, would be able to help you to refine the students' research problems, focus, ideas, and so on and so forth. Ayan. Next, the next value of literature review and research writing or academic writing is providing fundamental knowledge on your research problems and focus. Because our research problems, our research focus should be grounded beyond our interests and uh, beyond our personal experiences. I always emphasize, no, when we are well, at least in my classes, when we come up with our research ideas, research focus, research problems, because well, for me, I always ask the students to, always ask. I'll always come up with problems first. No, think of problems first, and the research topic will follow later. No, because there is a way for you to translate those research problems into research topics in the future. Parang the quote-unquote research topic or research title parang will be the last step prior to the thesis proposal. No, the most important thing in research is for you to come up with problems. No, and obviously that is what you will answer when you do your research project. No, when you do your thesis and so on and so forth. No, and for you to be grounded, no, beyond your interests, beyond your personal experiences, no, by doing literature review, or for the very least, no, reading existing studies, related studies regarding your potential projects, no, it will immerse yourself in relevant discourses regarding your research problem and focus, no. This happened to me, no, when I was doing a research project 5 years ago, no, na parang, okay, I thought of a problem, and when I did the literature review, oh, some other researchers from other universities already answered my problem. So there's no point in pursuing this problem anymore. No, and that will make you realize that, hey, I can answer this problem in the Philippine context, because the research problem, the research focus of those researchers are in the context of other people in the different countries. So literature review, no, I mean, reading existing literature would help you, refine your research topics, find an angle, as to how you could basically include, your personal experiences, your interests, and so on and so forth. No, so when your professors say that when coming up with research topics, no, it should be quote unquote original, no, at the senior high school level or in the undergraduate level, no, well, it really depends, no, on the policies of your institution. But for me, no, it doesn't have to be original in a sense that you were the first person to come up. It's just that for me, by reading academic literature, you'll be able to find academic gaps, and later on you can squeeze in your personal experiences, your academic interests, and answer problems within the scope of your parang studies, to projects, and so on and so forth. By reading existing literature, no, it will also create building blocks, no, for hypotheses and potential arguments. Again, our focus here is in research problem generation, research focus generation, research topic generation. Also, why am I always saying this? Because people don't realize that the first step in coming up with research problems, research focus, research topics is actually reading existing literature, or at least one of the first steps. No, and by being able to contextualize your research problems, by finding angles that are applicable, in your respective projects, it will help you realize, or or it will help you realize the potential hypotheses that you could answer, no, within your projects. I mean, it will give you again an idea as to how you will refine, you find a different angle as to how you could go about your research topics, problems, and focus. No, and potential arguments in the future, no, when you write your results and discussions. I will mention earlier, no, in the next slide, that actually your literature review should also speak with your results and discussions. But again, we will talk about that later on. When doing a literature review, no, it will also help you identify the appropriate methodology to answer your research problem. No, thankfully, no, the students in UP are very lucky, no, that you have the best professors basically in the country, no, some of the best professors in the country, and all of them, I would assume, are experts in their respective fields. As such, they would already know the appropriate methodologies for the investigations that you will be doing. However, no, for some of our attendees, delegates, participants today who are from different institutions in the country, no, I think it is a common discourse. No, I'm really sorry for bringing this up, but this is a really controversial thing among researchers in the Philippines. No, some research advisors would force their students, no, to do a certain methodology, no, because the professors or the research advisors know parang a certain methodology, no, when in fact, no, there are appropriate methodologies to answer certain research problems. No, we cannot apply any methodology to any research problem just because this is the only methodology that we know. No, and in those cases, no, wherein you don't know how to go about with your methodology, no, again, reading existing literature, no, doing a literature review would, of course, help you find the appropriate methodology for your research projects, for your investigations, no. So that is an easy way, no, for you to look for methodologies. And again, no, you will be immersed in the relevant discourses. It will help you find the appropriate methodologies for your investigations, projects, and overall, no, after doing a literature review, after realizing all those things, then you are already ready, no, to present your research project, no, your thesis proposal in the case of the department students today, no. So yeah, the literature review completes the design of the whole research project. Long story short, no, that is how important literature review is, and this is what I always emphasize, no, and I think everyone or almost everyone here is familiar of the meme from I think that was from UP Diliman, no, that you cannot cram the RRL, no. In my case, no, I mean, I've been an undergrad and I've crammed my RRL as well. And when I became a researcher myself, and when I had to, present my research projects, no, to our principal investigators and so on and so forth, no, they will be able to identify if you are just saying some rubbish. Kaya it is always good to have some sort of bala, or parang you have knowledge about what you are talking about, no. So yun, people don't realize that actually literature review is that important, no. Actually, for me, at least, it is the most important step in doing or designing your research project. Ayan. Ron was able to give me talking points, no, as to what should I be discussing in the 45 minutes that was given to me. And I was asked to identify the characteristics of a good literature review, and I had a hard. Well, I have a lot of things in my mind, and I had a hard time summarizing them basically. And good thing that I saw this infographic from Professor Laura Caras from the University of South Carolina, upstate. She shared this figure with a Creative Commons license, which means that it is available for us to share to everyone, as long as we cite the source, that it came from her. And this particular figure perfectly encapsulated the characteristics of a good literature review, the elements of a very great literature review, And I've already mentioned some of those things that I mentioned earlier. They appeared here. First of all, again, they help in identifying gaps in existing research. Because again, there's no point in doing a research problem that have been answered by someone else already, unless of course you can find a different angles. And both fortunately and unfortunately, fortunately, as a researcher, the Philippines has a lot of problems that hasn't been solved already. So as a researcher, we can look for tons of angles that we can, wherein we can focus our research projects. And unfortunately, as a Filipino citizen, unfortunately, again, we have a lot of problems in the Philippines, and we need to resolve, find solutions to all these problems. So parang yun yung realization ko, both as a researcher and as a Filipino researcher and as a Filipino citizen. And I'm pretty sure the professors of the College of Human Ecology would relate to this very much. Again, going back, identifying gaps in existing research. I mentioned this the slide before. Notice methodologies and research techniques. Provide context for your own research. Again, because it will help you realize the angles wherein you could go into for your research projects. Ayun, explore existing information in the field of research, immersing yourself in the relevant discourses. Already mentioned this earlier. Locate major formative works in the field. It is important for you, again, to be immersed in the major discourses, identify who the major scholars are in your fields. Kita ba sa ko? Kita ata sa ko. Let me remove my second monitor. Ayan. Saglit lang. Okay, and I will share my screen here instead. Saglit lang. Sorry for this. Mabilis lang. Ayan. Oops. Ayan. Okay. I think it's sharing now. Okay. Ayan. Locate formative works in the field. It is important for you to identify the major scholars in your field, in your fields of investigation, so that you will be able to trace the developing discourses within your field that is related to the second point, a certain key researchers working on the topic. Another point that I mentioned earlier, that I will be discussing further in this slide. Find main ideas, conclusions, and theories. Establish similarities and differences. The reason why you cannot cram the RRL is, well, for you to make sure na you include relevant literature that you can use when you do your research, when you do your results and discussion section later on, after you gather your data. Basically, you have to make sure well, ultimately it is you who will decide as to what you will put in the RRL, no? There are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands papers in human ecology, probably, and you cannot put everything there, so and then you will learn about this later, you will need to only focus on certain literature that are related to your research problem. Again, I always say research problem because the topic will come in later, and the focus of your research problem is of your project is to answer the research problem. Ayan. Again, going back to the discussion, focus on literature that are relevant to your research problem, and you will be able to use those literature later on, no, to establish the similarities, no, what results are the same with your project and with the existing literature, with the academic literature that you have read. You will also realize the differences, no, I mean, your research might have different results compared to those existing academic literature, and that will help you realize, no, as to how you will argue or explain those similarities and differences later on. I hope I am making sense, no, and yeah, the best point, no, in the characteristics of a good or very great literature review is that it will show you the relationships between previous studies and theories, no, theories, how these theories and discussions evolved later on, how these discussions were applied in certain contexts, and so on and so forth, no. And by the way, no, I'm not sure why, but a lot of Filipino students that I have encountered in other schools, no, always say that they always have a really hard time finding for existing literature, no, and we will be discussing this further in the coming slides, no. Ako, nakalimutan ko sabihin ko, but anyway, ayun, we will be having tips about that, no, later on. Okay. Okay, I think we started. Yeah, I still have around 30 minutes, so I can focus on this part further, no, kasi I was told to give practical tips with guides, no, in writing a literature review, no, and this is supposed to be a workshop, so I should be focusing on these parts of the talk. And by the way, no, if you have any questions, yeah, nakalagay na pala. Okay, if you have any questions, just state them in the chat box, whether in here in Zoom or in YouTube or in Facebook, so that the organizers can be able to collect them and mention them earlier in the Q&A session. Ano, we will focus on the workshop in this part of the program. And for the practical tips, no, we will be learning, no, as to how to the ways in which to start a literature review, the ways in which to efficiently look for literature review sources, and lastly, the way to structure a literature review. And the ones that I will be mentioning today as the primary audience was supposedly undergraduate students. So the things that I will be mentioning today are really basics, no, or probably some master students can learn from this as well. And I've also invited my senior high school students who will definitely be learning in this lecture. No, if you are doing your PhD, you already know about these things already. But since we have a Q&A session later naman, you can ask for further clarifications later on. Okay. Now, how do we start writing a literature review? Again, as we always mentioned in the past slides, uh, and the students of the department has already done this, no? Decide on what you want to generally focus for your research project, no? And we already talked about this earlier. What interests you in relation to your degree program, and what made you interested in those, no? Probably your personal experiences, something that inspired you, motivated you, and so on and so forth. What phenomenon are you interested in investigating? No, there might be a specific problem in your community, a theory that you would like to further expand, no, investigate. Why? Always ask why, no, in all of these questions. To and it is also important, no, to identify the group of people and in community that you are interested in doing an investigation, ano. Ayan. And upon those, no, upon identifying those things, the students have already done that, no. The students of the department have already done that in the past two lectures, no. So they can already go to the next step, no, that we have here, no. Basically, read about those particular research interests, read about the communities that you are planning to focus on. If there are no literature about those communities, then at least read literature within the Philippines. If you are in the Philippines, I'm assuming that all of us here, or most of us here, are Filipinos. But long story short, yun, read studies about those that are about the people of the country that you are planning to do an investigation on. And if there really is little to none literature, then you can expand to other countries in the region. In the case of the Philippines, you can also read about Southeast Asian studies, and further and further. Just to give you an idea as to how to go about your literature review, what you can say, and so on and so forth. Anyway, we will be discussing naman earlier how to organize your ideas, in writing your literature review. So it is okay, to just read at first, that is always the first step, in doing research work, and for those that are planning to do grounded theory, then of course read literature about the variables that you are planning to investigate. And then upon reading about these variables, and upon reading certain methodologies, you will learn the ways in which to triangulate all these variables later on, when you design your research project. I always say design your research project, but basically when you make your thesis proposal, for example, I mean, I speak as if you are doing parang funded projects, but the process is almost the same naman. It's just that those of us apply for funding, and then a lot of researchers in the Philippines actually spend their own money, in the case of undergraduate students, ayun. Ayan. For this part, we will be having a walkthrough, later on, to give you an idea as to how to go about these kinds of things, because this is the problem of a lot of Filipino students that I've encountered in other institutions. For those in undergraduate and senior high school programs, the easiest way is for you to ask your research supervisor, advisor, or mentor for essential academic literature that may be able to give you fundamental knowledge and ideas, no? Ideally, no, in an ideal sense, if your supervisors or advisors or mentors are well read, they would be able to at least, no, provide those, no. And I have been very, very lucky that up until now that I am doing my PhD, no, I've always had mentors that I can reach out to, ask for academic literature, just in case I don't understand some things, no. So this is also a call, no, for those of you that are research advisors here. There might be some from other institutions outside of UP that are here, no. That yeah, we need to arm ourselves with new readings, new knowledge, new methodologies, and so on and so forth, no, so that we could be able to, you know, give something to our mentees later on. For those in graduate degree programs, you are already expected to know the fundamentals of your academic fields, no. So identify literature from your studies and review them to check its applicability to your research interests and focus, no. And identify the major discourses on those academic literature, no. Do you see names of scholars that always appear in those? Because most certainly, no, you will be able to constantly see the same names, no. And you always have to think about, you know, why do people always cite these researchers? Why what is with them? Why do people always cite them? Then find out about it, no. Because most likely those researchers that have always been, that always appear, no, in the references of other published works, no, are major contributors in the development of certain theories, of certain concepts, of certain types of investigation, etc., etc., no. And the next tip, this next tip I just learned while doing my thesis proposal last year, this tip was given to me by my PhD supervisor, no. Read the references of academic literature that you have now, no. I mean, yeah, I've been doing research since when I graduated college, no, in 2015. But I just realized now that, hey, yeah, the easiest way for you to look for literature review sources is actually read the references of the academic literature that you have now, no. And most especially those that are given to us by our professors, by our mentors, by our supervisors, no. Because they contain the fundamental knowledge, and it will help you, realize the ways in which the discourses in our academic fields developed, no. Well, this is applicable for master's degree, for graduate degree students, no, master's and PhD students, not necessarily for those in undergrad, but still in an ideal way, those in undergrad and senior high school can also contribute to the discourses of our academic fields. No, but anyway, no, we are those in graduate degree programs are expected to also be contributors to the discourses we have now, which is why, we are always encouraged you to write journal articles and submit, because it is not enough for us to talk about these kinds of things in conferences or within the four walls of our offices, or within the four walls of our classrooms, no. In academia, the main way that we communicate, no, our stand is through writing journal articles and having them published, of course, in reputable journals, so yun, read the references of the academic literature that you have now. You would be very surprised as to how as to how these could help you, collect more literature, no? And no, upon having that, no, and you were able to already come up with a number of literature review, no, or existing literature, no, sa inyong mga folders. Go to Google Scholar or Scopus or Web of Science if you have access to Web of Science, no, and the like, and check the citations of the academic literature that you think is useful, no, and you may be able to find new academic literature that could help you in the future, ano. So on this part, I will show you parang I will show you a walkthrough or a practical guide of this parang tip. No, let me go to Google Scholar first kasi I'm logged in Facebook for a while. Scopus, let me log in my Scopus account first. I should have done this earlier, no, before our talk started. But anyway, we have enough time naman as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, we still have enough time. Okay, let's let's just use my own Google Scholar profile. Okay. Could you please give a thumbs up if you already see my screen that is being shared? Okay, great. Yeah, let's go to this Oxford paper, or not, or not. Yeah, let's go to this very theoretical work. My first ever journal article. Oh no, it's doing. Yeah, let's open it for a while, or we could just go to the academia, to the academia page. There. Oh no. Sorry, but anyway, we have time. We have enough time for this. Okay. Okay, let's go to the references because as I mentioned earlier, you can go to the references. No, let's go to that reference for Howard Giles. Howard Giles. You know what? Never mind. I'll just search for it. Howard Giles, Communication Accommodation Theory, the 2016 book of Howard Giles on Communication Accommodation Theory, which, by the way, I will have a talk about this theory tomorrow in a different university in the Philippines. So yeah, this is a 2016 book, the very recent book that basically collects the development of the theory, one of the theories that I'm very much involved in. Then you could go to cite. You can see that it has been already cited by 222 publications after its publication. So you can see the studies that have cited, the recent studies that have cited that particular reference. Howard Giles, by the way, was the one who conceptualized communication accommodation theory. And just to give you a short background, communication accommodation theory says that we humans change the way we communicate depending on who we talk to. No, that's the general idea. No? So we change the way we speak depending on the age of the person that we talk to, the generation. We change the way we speak depending on the ethnicity of the person we talk to, among other factors. So that's the gist of the theory, and if you would like to cite the latest the latest literature that cited that book. No, you could just press since 2021 if you would like to, focus on that. Then it will show you all the latest studies, no, about that cited that particular book, and so on and so forth. Then also 2020. Then you can also put a custom range depending on you. And as I mentioned earlier, no, it is you who will ultimately choose what you put in your RRL, as long as you focus on your research problems, focus on your research questions. Okay, and that alone will help you, focus on what you will put in your literature review as well. No, ayan. What's the next part? I'm not sure how much time I have left, but anyway, I think we still have enough time to discuss the last slide. No, after that, no, another practical tip. Let's say, for example, no, you have a lot of literature to read. No, just read the abstract and the conclusion of the study. This practical tip I realized when I was writing the literature review for my own master's thesis. No, during our methods course for my master's degree in LaSalle, no, our professor required us to provide an annotated bibliography, which we will discuss later on. Ano, we were required to submit an annotated bibliography that contained between 100 and 150 sources, no, that we think are that we think, no, is useful or are useful to our studies, no, to our proposed thesis projects. Ako, I have 5 minutes left pala, so I will discuss this further. And of course, I had to read almost 400 papers, no, and I realized, no, that hey, if you read the abstract, if you read the abstract and the conclusion, it will give you a general idea as to how the study was developed, the main arguments of the study, the results, etc. No, and we will discuss as to how it will help you come up with an annotated bibliography in the last slide. No, last slide na po ito. Ano? Sorry, I was told that I have 5 minutes left. Sobrang daldal ko talaga without a script. No, how to structure a literature review. First of all, no, this is an important note for everyone. Do an annotated bibliography. No, what is an annotated bibliography? I have examples here, no, that I will show you for a while. No, an annotated bibliography basically. I will screen share this. Ano, an annotated bibliography simply, no, includes the general summary, very short summary of a certain reference, no, one reference. No, it will also mention the methodology, a brief summarization of the results, and you will also need to put in the annotated bibliography, how this particular source will help you in your study. No, so it will force you to think, no, as to how this particular reference that you are reading, no, will help you in designing your research project, and so on and so forth. No, siguro I will post the links instead on the chat box later on. But that is the importance of doing an annotated bibliography. And when you do that, let's say 250 references, 100 references, no, it will help you basically code or connect all these kinds of different references later on. And yeah, I have less than 5 minutes left. I mean, I have I think 1 or 2 minutes left. So please let me discuss, no, the two major kinds of literature review that you can do. First is chronological. Basically, you start with the broadest studies, with the theories, with the concepts later on, and then you go into the studies that first applied those theories, those concepts that overlap with your research question, and then the studies that are directly related to your investigation. And this figure has a source, you can just screenshot it. And lastly, thematic. You can write the literature review based on specific focus, specific topics or issues, specific on when you are doing grounded theory. You can structure your literature review based on the variables. And of course, when you are doing theoretical stuff, then you can focus on the discourses and the debates. Perhaps we have time later on to discuss these things in the Q&A. I'm not sure if I already went over time. I think I did. But anyway, yeah, I have a lot of things to say in my mind right now, but 45 minutes is quite short. Anyway, we have Q&A session naman later, maraming salamat, daghang salamat sa mga Bisaya na naminaw. Thank you very much for listening. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Q&A later.
Thank you so much, Prof. Jack, for that very comprehensive presentation. I know that our audience are excited for the open forum. We're receiving a lot of questions, and we'll give time to answer those questions later at the open forum. But at this point in time, to keep our conversation, and let's just park the questions first, may I now call on Professor Jenny Amparo, our co-faculty member at the Department of Social Development Services, College of Human Ecology, to give us some feedback and reaction from the sharing of Prof. Jekon.
Let me just share my screen, Mama.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. So I hope you all see my screen. So I won't eat up a lot of your time, but thank you very much, Prof. Jekon and future Dr. Jekon. Malapit na po yan. So thank you very much for this talk on RRL. And I think this is one of the, I think this is the most famous topic that we have for this undergraduate thesis workshop that the College of Human Ecology is currently implementing. So thank you very much for your time. So I have 3 quick insights. I won't repeat what you said, but basically from our experience as well, and from the sharing of Prof. Jekon, clean na natin, Dr. Jekon. So Prof. Jekon held our hands as we navigated the muddiest points in doing your literature review. So, so 3 things, the value of RRL, why we're doing it in the first place, and why it's important in developing our thesis. And then second, he guide us in terms of the qualities of what a good RRL is, and the 2 major types of RRL, or how to do it, and then some basic tips on RRL, or what he termed as RRL hacks. So okay, so 3, as I've said, I promised 3. So first is location, location, location. So sabi nga po ni Prof. Jekon, the reason why we're doing this is to locate ourselves in all the researches, in the literature of what we're doing. Baka may nakagawa na, baka hindi pa nagawa, or we could gain insights from the existing literature in terms of navigating and answering our research objective. So siguro just to delve into this location, I'd like to use Where's Waldo now. So, ayan po, Sige nga po, tingnan natin. Where's Waldo here? Ayan. So, of course, Martin Hanford, this is Martin Hanford's work. So, may technique pala sa paghahanap kay Waldo. So, ginamit ko ang analogy to kasi ganito po ang RRL, right? This is the literature. Napaka-vast, So, for example, if you type in your name or your topic in Google Scholar or in Google, Ang dami po, no, nalalabas. So how do you sort that out? Parang in terms of news, paano mo siya masasort sa fake news or not? Okay, with that, sabi dito, ang technique daw in searching for Waldo is, Martin has a version for extremes and the middle. So hindi mo makikita si Waldo sa middle at sa dulo. Tama ba? Tignan natin sa dulo, wala po siya dyan. Tama? Ang technique daw is usually 25% of the time, Waldo is 1.5 inch on the top or bottom border. Okay, ginawa ko po yun kanina. So dito ako sa top, 1 inch. Dito pala, ayan po si Waldo. Kita niya? Tama, no? Ang galing ng bata ko. Parang, saan ba si Waldo dito? Gusto. Anyway, so yun ang technique. Anyway, so just like finding Waldo, ganun din po tayo, no, when we're doing RRL. Marami po yan. But to search our topic, to search what we're going to do is like looking for Waldo in this marketplace, no, na gustong-gusto na po natin in the pre-pandemic world. Okay? Pero pwede din naman po, sabi nga naman ni Prof. Jekon, pwede din naman may social distancing edition. Ibig sabihin, napaka-unique ng topic mo. Ikaw lang, konti lang kayo doon sa ano. So, very fortunate or not, it could be a double-edged sword. But there are also some topics, no, na napaka-novel na ikaw rin lang. So, ayan. Medyo may ano dito kasi wala kang masasite, wala kang, you cannot cite anything na very substantial. Pero exciting siya because you're in the forefront, no, frontier yung research. Okay, so that's insight 1. Insight 2 is basically focus, your story focus. Tulad ni Waldo, no, there's a lot of Waldos here. Pero ano yung i-concentrate natin? We learn to discern what we need and learn to not use everything for our thesis. Kasi may ganun po tayo eh. Ang dami mong nabasa, ang ganda niya, gagamitin ko lahat ng frameworks na to. Hindi po ganun ng RRL. It's our task to stay focused on our story. So very critical po yun, no? So ayan, hanggang mahanap niyo si Waldo, hanggang mahanap niyo yung topic niyo, hanggang mahanap niyo yung literature and framework or method that will be useful, no? All right, and lastly po, ang third insight which I got also from Prof. Jekon is, lagi ang tanong, where's Waldo? Saan ba ako maghahanap ng literature? Ano bang tools ang gagamitin ko? But never how's Waldo. May photo yan. Never how's Waldo. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Kanina na sinabi ni Prof. Jekon how we could do it practically. Mamaya din po, may search yan. No? But I think what I've learned from doing my RRL in my PhD is when to stop. No? When to stop reading and start writing. So, kasi minsan, ang daming magandang literature, sinusulat mo pa lang yung thesis mo, may bago na naman research. So, how do you stop reading and you start finishing your thesis? So, with that, maraming salamat po, daghang salamat, Diyos mabalos, dakala salamat, at agyaman. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Prof. Jenny, for that very insightful feedback. I think at this point, we will now proceed with our open forum, which will be facilitated by Dr. Willie Awitan. We receive a lot of questions, so I'm now giving the floor to Dr. Willie Awitan, and of course, we'll pin Prof. Jekon here on our screen, so we'll listen to their conversation. Take it away, Dr. Willie.
Okay, good afternoon again, everyone. Thank you very much, Dr. Amparo, for those insights. And again, thank you very much, Professor Jekon Dreisbach, for sharing your RRL writing tips. No, especially ang saya-saya ng ating mga students, no, doing their thesis right now, no, because they are benefiting, no, with those tips po. Okay. Ganito, we will read all the questions, no, one at a time, para po hindi malito, of course, si Professor Jekon. And then kapag nasagot ay tsaka po tayo magbabasa uli ng another questions. A lot of questions now in line. So to maximize the time now, Prof. Jekon, unang katanungan po, how many sources are ideal for bachelor's thesis, master's thesis, and PhD thesis?
Ayan, maraming salamat po, Dr. Willie, sa katanungan. Yun po, actually yan din maliban yung sa tanong na kung saan maghahanap ng literature review, no, the next question that always comes up is how many should we include in our references, for example. And to say this, unfortunately, I cannot say a concrete number on how much should the references contain. As I mentioned in the chat box earlier, no, when Dr. Amparo was well, she basically she was able to perfectly encapsulate what I was trying to say earlier in just a short span of time. But anyway, what I said in the chat box earlier was to focus on studies that will help you answer your research questions. Kasi po doon nahihirapan yung students, katulad nga ng nabanggit ni Dr. Amparo kanina, there are tons of literature out there, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of literature out there. But where should we focus? My tip is to focus on studies that you think can help answer your research question, that has the methodology that you think is useful to answer your research problems, your research questions, and so on and so forth. And it is you who will ultimately decide as to how much references you will put on. In my field, language contact in the Philippines, as far as I know, nabibilang lang sa dalawang kamay yung researchers sa buong Pilipinas who does research on that, and we have very, 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 very limited literature in the past 30 years. As in, you literally can count language contact research in the Philippines. As such, of course, we can cite all those 30 and all those yung nabibilang na studies sa bachelor's, master's, and PhD degree levels, among other studies that we can cite from that has been published in other contexts and other countries and so on and so forth. Basta lang, if you think you have the sufficient literature that you think makakatulong na sa iyo mag-explain noong mga bagay-bagay na yung background, methodology, for example, things that can help you answer your research questions, problems, yun. I can't say for certain kung specific talaga or concrete numbers. I'm really sorry. Yun lang po.
Yes, salamat Prof. Jekon. For your second question, given the proliferation of many predatory journals, how can we ensure the quality of the journals being cited in our RRL?
Yeah, thank you very much for bringing that question up. I just opened this website that I could hopefully share to everyone. Please let me share this website. The easiest way for you to identify predatory journals, if you are like looking for the easiest way, is to search for Beall's List on Google, beallslist.net, yung current link. As far as Beall's List was established by Professor Jeffrey Beall. He is a professor of library science who is specializing in scientific fraud and research and so on and so forth. And the original list is here. That's the easiest way to go. There is also apparently an update here. I haven't seen this. May update pala. Ayan. So that's the easiest way. And I always tell everyone, as much as possible, if you can, use university-based journals. UP has a lot of journals. LaSalle, we have some. Ateneo has some. UST has some, and in the what's this as in the Southeast Asian region, no, they can go to the ASEAN Citation Index, no. They can search for this, no, ASEAN Citation Index. The ASEAN Citation Index contains 628 journals. All of them are open access. All of them are free, no, from 10 Southeast Asian countries, and you will see here all the university-based journals in all countries, or at least those that have been accredited by the ASEAN Citation Index. All of these are free for you to access, no? Pero kung publication-wise, some journals require a publication fee, but for access lang, all are open access. You can I can assure you 100% that all journals here are credible, are reputable, are authoritative, no. And if your institutions have access, no, they can go to Scopus. Thankfully, in Spain, no, we have access Web of Science, no. Wait lang. Web of Science. Web of Science. Wait lang. Master list of journals. Ayan, MJL there. Scopus is free for everyone. Just register. Yeah, and you can look for Scopus index journals that I can confidently say, no, kasi Scopus has somewhat a stringent parang standards, no. So yun, they accredited 42,180 journals, pero most of them are paywalled, meaning ibig sabihin baka kailangan pa magbayad. So check with what's this, your institution, if you have access. Web of Science, Master Journalist, free for everyone to access, but maraming research journals may bayad. And yun, National Library of the Philippines. Ayan, the National Library of the Philippines, if you are not familiar, no, made their e-resources portal available to the public, no. So if you register here dito sa National Library of the Philippines, kahit Gmail lang, no, or normal email address mo lang, you can access ito na EBSCOhost, Wiley, Emerald Publishing, De Gruyter, ProQuest, lahat ng mga credible journals na nandito, mga thesis dissertations. Ayan. So those are some that you can use, credible, no, and ayun, kung potential na predatory journals, publishers, the easiest way for you is to search for them here. But again, merong questionable aspects of Bill's list that have been clarified naman in a lot of ways, no. So yun lang po.
Okay. For the next question, Prof. Jekon.
Mm-hmm.
Sa dami ng mga sources po, no, na binabahagi nyo sa amin. So the question is how to better organize sources. Are there any applications that are easy to use? Yeah.
I'm quite a traditional person. Basically, as I mentioned in the chat box earlier, no, whenever I search for literature, thankfully, no, I can easily find literature that can answer my research problems. But if we are going to talk about, let's say, for example, applications that you can use to organize your literature, no, you can go to Mendeley. As far as I know, this is free for everyone. No, this is a reference manager. No, this is the mostly used one as far as I know, at least in my circle. No, this is free for everyone. You can just put the DOI or the direct object identifier of your study, or you can upload the PDF of your references there. Then Mendeley will organize it for you. Then they will also automatically generate the reference style. I mean, let's say, for example, if you are using APA 7th edition, no, you could just there is a feature there wherein you just wherein Mendeley detects the metadata of the paper, and then just press what the citation feature there. Just choose APA 7th edition or MLA or Harvard or Chicago or Turabian, whatever. Then it will help you already organize your readings, and help you with the citation already, with the reference citation style. Another one is Zotero. I know some people who use these. This one is also free for everyone. It works the same as Mendeley, no? It's just a little bit simpler, no, because this is open source, so a lot of people are developing this software. Both reference managers are free. No, you can download them. Works the same way. It will help you also, organize your readings. There, no, you can make folders, no, and let's say, for example, okay, you make folders depending on the variable that you are reading about for your literature review. So put in the variable folders, then you could just put the studies there later on, and that's basically it. I mean, if we are going to talk about applications that they could use, again, all of these are free for everyone to use.
Okay, sir, thank you. So before I read the next question, again, participants can chat, no, their questions po sa ating chat box, at makikita po yan ng ating mga organizers. So for the next question, Prof. Jekon, talagang interesado sila, no, with what you shared a while ago. Is there a hard rule on the date of publication that will be included in the literature review? Example, 10 years or 5 years? How latest is the term latest when it comes to RRL?
Yes, thank you very much, Sir Willie. Ayan. In the seminars that I have attended, they say, no, they claim that the global standard for the term latest is in the past 5 years, no. Mm-hmm. So when we say 5 years, 2021 ngayon, next year 2022, so the studies that have been published in 2016 onwards, no, that is the standard, no, and those in STEM research, no, the hard sciences, applied sciences, engineering, IT, computer science, they are very lucky, no, kasi their peer review process, publication process is very straightforward, no. But for us in the humanities and the social sciences, no, we always question the term the recency, no, of these studies. Let's say, for example, again, I mentioned earlier, in my field, no, language contact in the Philippines, nabibilang lang sa 2 kamay yung researchers, and from my literature review, no, there have only been around 20-30 studies in the past 30 years alone, no, unlike other fields na parang you already have thousands. So there are very, very, very exceptional cases wherein you can cite those old literature to give you kasi those old literature can still give us parang context or background, or help us give us an idea on how we can go about our research, no. Pero sasabihin na natin, no, doon sa ating mga pananaliksik, mga researchers na okay, limited yung literature dito sa field ko, so this study that I'm doing now, for example, will parang include or parang will help in the development in the discourses of this field kasi nga limited lang yung literature. So yun, again, there are exceptions in times wherein limited lamang yung literature, and yun na nga, I usually focus on the same context. Pinipilit ko na kahit kung wala sa Pilipinas, pinipilit ko within Southeast Asia, pero kung wala talagang literature, dyan ako lalabas pa. Oo. So sa labas ng Southeast Asia, labas ng Pilipinas. So yun lang po. I hope I was able to answer the question.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Maybe these next questions related to that, sir. Paano daw po kung ang isang source ay walang petsa, but the content is relevant to the study and essential to be included? Hindi po ba mababawasan ang credibility or validity nito?
Walang petsa. Kasi kung walang petsa, madali lang naman po yung yung sagot diyan kasi all reference citation styles allow us to cite sources that have no date. We just put ND, no date, no? Pero when it comes to credibility and authority ng sources natin, no? I always emphasize to everyone beyond checking kung predatory, kung galing ba ito sa predatory journal or hindi, because again, predatory journals don't have the peer review process, so hindi dumadaan sa scrutiny ng peer reviews, ng editors, ng experts, and so on and so forth, no? So yun, beyond that, no, then they can check the provenance of the source that they are planning to cite. Sino ba yung gumawa nung let me if it's okay, no, if it's okay with everyone, no, let me share a very quick slide, no. Nasaan ba yung ginamit ko noong nakaraang araw? Ayan, let me share this this slide can perfectly answer the question. Ito, ginamit ko sa lecture ko a few days ago. Ayan. I-full screen ko yan. Always check the authority. No? Authority, sino ba yung author? Kung independent researcher siya, may beyond graduate degree, constant ba yung kanyang scholarship? Were they able to publish their researches in peer-reviewed journals, etc., etc., no? So yun, Filipino teacher po kasi ako, kaya nasa Filipino yung aking mga materials, no? But this came from the UC Berkeley Library. So question the authority, question the publication and format, lalo na kung self-published, no? So everything boils down about rechecking the authority of the person who wrote the information, etc., etc. So yun po yung sagot ko doon sa question, no? Kung credible, kung authoritative yung tao, credible yung tao, yung scholarly background niya ay constant, they contribute to the development of the discourses, that pwedeng i-cite kahit walang petsa.
Salamat, Prof. Jekon. I just want to read this. May we know po kung saan mag-talk si Sir bukas about po sa communication accommodation theory? It's related to our...
Nako. Well, hindi po ako sure actually kung open to the public siya. Buksan ko po yung Facebook page. Saglit lang.
Please, yeah.
Ayan. Well, hindi pa ako sure kung open siya to the public. Wala akong balita kung open siya to the public. Let me open the Facebook page. Ayan, ito na lang Pwede ko kaya itong i-share. Ayan. Sige po, ko lang yung mga chat ko saglit. Well, I am from South Cotabato in the Philippines, and for the very first time, I've been invited by a university in South Cotabato to speak. So, yun, ito po yung ng kaibigan ko. Hindi po ako sure kung open ito sa public, pero yun, may araw ng multiculturalismo sa Notre Dame of Marble University sa South Cotabato. Check nyo na lang po yung Facebook page nila kung ano man, no, kung may update sila tomorrow. So, yun po. Ayun. Apparently, ngayon ko lang nalaman, pala siya, broadcasted pala siya live sa kanilang Facebook page, Notre Dame of Marble University. Tomorrow, ang oras ko ata ay 8 a.m. Philippine time. So, yun po.
Ayun, nasagot. Salamat. Maraming salamat again.
Opo. Ngayon ko lang nalaman na broadcasted pala siya live. Akala ko Zoom lang.
Yeah. Matapos nilang marinig kasi yung iyong sharing today, no? Ang dami pong gustong sundan, no? Yung inyong ginagawa. Okay. Again, are there this is for DSDS UPLB probably, no? Are there upcoming workshop on thesis by DSDS UPLB from Israel Sarmiento and Leonard Waga? Dr. Jen, kindly answer.
Yes po, this is, we're doing this programmatically. Ibig sabihin po, for undergraduate thesis, this is a series of workshops. So we're on RRL. Succeeding topics will focus on methods, on writing tips, and then yung thesis fatigue din, no? Yung ating mental wellness in terms of finishing our thesis. So please do follow the Department of Social Development Services, College of Human Ecology, UPLB Facebook. I think Sir Ron could share it to you. We'll post po doon. And in the evaluation, you could also share some topics that you'd like us to also engage with. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you, Doc Jen. So time check, it's 5:26. So I know marami pa pong questions sana, no? But I guess we have no time na po. Probably if you still have questions, kindly send it to Professor Dapito or Professor Ron Dangkalan at yun po ay sasagutin, no, through email probably po. Okay? So with that, maraming salamat Professor Jekon Dreisbach, and as a reactor Dr. Jennifer Marie Amparo. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Turn it back to you, Professor Dapito, ma'am.
Thank you po, Doc Willie and Prof. Jekon. At this point, we would like to send our gratitude to Prof. Jekon for that very comprehensive discussion on the topic this afternoon. And we would like to award our Certificate of Appreciation. May I call on Professor Jenny Amparo to award the Certificate of Appreciation to our resource person for this afternoon.
Yes, so Professor Jekon, thank you very much po for your time and for your sharing, and we really learned a lot po, no, from your sharing, and sa list po ng questions na talagang engaged po ang ating mga participants. So we'd like to, of course, award the Certificate of Appreciation and Recognition to Prof. Jekonia Luis M. Dresbach for serving as a resource person for the review of related literature writing workshop organized as part of the SDS 200 Undergraduate Thesis Workshop Series of the Department of Social Development Services, College of Human Ecology, held this 29th of October 2021 via Zoom, of course, signed by yours truly, and of course, Dr. Dino Geges, the chair of our department. So a round of applause and a heart emoji po dyan for Prof. Jek. Thank you very much, Prof. Jekon.
Maraming salamat din po sa invitasyon, Ron. Maraming salamat sa invitasyon.
Thank you again, Prof. Jekon. And I think we are now at the end of our program, but of course, before we formally end our program, we would like to invite everyone to please turn on your camera para sa isang photo opportunity before we call on Dr. Visco for the closing program. Baka daw po kasi umalis tayo sa Zoom kapag nag-closing program, nag-closing message na. So we'll take the opportunity to have this picture taking with all of our participants from different colleges and institutions joining us this afternoon. Yan, sige po, paki-turn on lang po ang inyong mga camera, and I would like to ask Prof. Ron to
sige po. So, so one. Okay.
Let's wait for the others to turn on their camera. And flash your thank God it's Friday smile. And your thank you, Prof. Jekon, for being with us on a Friday afternoon. Prof. Ron?
Okay, sige po. So let's take a picture. Mahaba-haba po ito dahil 200 po tayo at siyam po ito na page. So just smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, another second page. 1, 2, 3. Third page. 1, 2, 3. Fourth page. 1, 2, 3. Fifth. 1, 2, 3. We are now on the 6th. 1, 2, 3. On the 7th. 1, 2, 3. On the 8th. 1, 2, 3. And on the 9th page, last but not least, 1, 2, 3. And of course, Ma'am Mafe, we had 200 here and we have more than 300 on YouTube. Thank you.
And for our closing program, let us all welcome Dr. Evelia S. Visco and listen to the closing remarks. Go ahead, Dr. Visco.
Thank you, Professor Dapito. First of all, we would like to thank again Professor Jekon. Thank you, sir. We had a lot of attendees today. I think this is a record for us in our training or workshop that was conducted by the department. Kanina, we had 278 participants sa Zoom and 336 Ron sa YouTube. So we would like also to thank Professor Dangkalan and na napakasipag po naming faculty, batang-batang faculty, napakasipag. Of course, Professor Dapito, Dr. Jennifer Amparo, our coordinator, Dr. Awitan, yung ating sa open forum, and lahat po ng mga faculty members of the Department of Social Development Services. I just would like to read all those who attended kasi napakarami po ng ating mga universities na umattend. Magpapasalamat po tayo, kaya po talaga na-populate yung ating mga participants. So of course, we have the DSDS, the Department of Social Development Services, and other institute from the College of Human Ecology. We have the Institute of Human Nutrition and Food. We have the College of Public Affairs din po dito sa UPLB. We have the DLSU, UP Resilience Institute, Palawan State University, San Pedro College of Business, Batangas Eastern Colleges, UPLB Graduate School, Marinduque State College, Caraga State University, DepEd, Central Mindanao University, New Era University, Kabuya Institute of Technology, Perpetual Binyan, UP Rural High School, Cavite State University, Indang, Southern Luzon State University, Surigao State University, UP Mindanao, UP Diliman, Pamantasan ng Cabuyao, Camarines Norte State College, UP Baguio. Represented po yata lahat ng UP campuses. UP Visayas lang yata wala ngayon. Perpetual Medical School, Perpetual Honelta, Cavite State University, Maine, Pampanga State Agricultural University, Philippine Christian University, Biliran Province State University. So may na-miss po ba kami? There are 30 universities na represented po dito, Sir Jekon. So sikat ka na, sir, all over the Philippines. If meron po kaming na-miss and we failed to mention your respective institutions, nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyong pag-attend. And of course, our students also here at the University of the Philippines. Jose Rizal Memorial State University, yes, thank you po. Mindanao State University Main Campus, thank you po. So napakarami po. And I'm sure this will not be the last, Sir Jekon. Baka po there will be a part 2 of this talk kasi napakarami pong tanong pa. Kaya lang po ay mag-aalas 5:30 na at magluluto pa kami ni Ma'am Jen. And of course, our students are now raring to go into their RRL. So, naliwanagan na sila. They are already enlightened. Alam na nila. Nahanap na nila si Waldo, Ma'am Jen. So yan, talakpakan po natin lahat. At muli, magpasalamat po kami sa inyong pagdalo at sana po sa mga susunod naming mga seminar. At sabi ni Ma'am Jen kanina, marami po. Just follow us in our FB. Yan, ganyan na ngayon. Marami pong salamat at magkita-kita po tayo muli. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Thank you very much, Dr. Visco. And of course, to everyone who are here with us this afternoon, thank you so much again for attending the session. And to those of you who are interested to get your certificate, please complete the Google form that we disseminated by the comment section in Zoom and even FB Live. Your certificate will be emailed to you. Again, we wish you a pleasant afternoon. Thank God it's Friday. We hope that Prof. Jekon, we thank Prof. Jekon for his time and kudos to all the organizers and participants. See you again in our next STE Talks. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Salamat po.
Thank you, everyone. Maraming salamat po.